Today, we will be talking about the key preparations of how to become a real estate investor. Da-da-da. So, how are you feeling? What are you thinking? Are you excited? Talk to me.
I am. Being that we are real estate investors and we want to embark our knowledge on others, I think preparation is key. I was a Girl Scout. My daughter was a Girl Scout. My son was in Scouts for a while. So yeah, preparation is key. Are your kids going to do that whole?
I don't know.
They're too young right now.
How I was raised, where I was raised, kind of in the hood, in East Cleveland, we made fun of Boys and Girl Scouts, but my kids are probably going to be in Boys and Girl Scouts because we live a much different life now.
A completely different life.
Yeah, so I don't know. That's why I was laughing because I'm like, that's so cute.
Aww.
But I actually have this, I can't say kid, but there was this kid, Zach, that used to send me packages when I was overseas, and I used to work with his mom, and he actually just, when I flew in, remember I think it was last year.
Yeah, you flew in for his graduation.
Yeah, for, I think, is it Eagle Scouts?
Eagle Scout.
And he just joined
the
Army.
My brother was an Eagle Scout.
Yeah, so shout out to Zach and you and your
Zach.
family. So no, I don't think it's not cool. I was just raised to think things that were good for you
We're not cool.
were not cool.
Well,
yeah.
I'm glad we're here to break that myth.
Yeah. So you want to get started?
I do. So the first 3 things that you need to do is learn your budget, first
Kind of
and
important.
foremost. You want to prepare a conservative cost estimate, and then you want to make sure that you're not over leveraging. Those are my top 3.
Okay, you want to break them down?
Yeah. So if you're going to take out a loan, you definitely need to get pre-approved prior to shopping around for your property. You need to know how much you can spend. And one of the things that I love about our team is that we actually have a spreadsheet, whether you're looking for a single family, whether you're looking for duplex, triplex, fourplex, or even 5 and more, that will break it down for you. But it's not just the income coming in, it's the expenses going out, it's everything. It's your mortgage, your insurance, your like all of that plus some.
Oh, well, for our investment spreadsheets, because I love spreadsheets, but our investment spreadsheets even do, like, there's a section for snow removal, lawn care, like, you name it.
The unexpected.
Yeah,
too.
property management. If you have labor and materials, because you have to, like, put costs into the property, like, every penny adds up, and you have to know what those numbers are.
You totally do. I
Yeah.
think that's step 1.
100%. I agree.
Okay.
So then that brings us to step 2.
Right. Regardless of cash or mortgage, ensure your team creates that spreadsheet and teaches you how to analyze the risks and returns.
Yeah.
I
So
think-
you have to figure out the budget and then be able to have some type of spreadsheet or process to be able to analyze the numbers.
And you have to make room and put room in there for costly mistakes, which we've done.
We'll be
We've had
getting
those.
into that is a later podcast. It's a whole podcast on its own.
So I think those are my top 3. Learn your budget, prepare a conservative cost estimate, and don't over leverage.
Okay. So here's one that I think is very important. It's the next step from those is study the market that you want to enter. You have to, okay, so first, the number one thing that you should do is have a realtor that specializes in working with investors. And if it's out of state or out of area, they really need to specialize in working with out of state or out of area investors. We made a costly mistake using a realtor that was an amazing, sweet realtor, but did not have that experience. So she had no idea what to look for.
I think it's not just knowing how to work with them, but they should be investors as well. I feel like they should be in the trenches with us.
I agree, but it depends. There are some that specifically, like, they are very good. Our realtor in Cleveland is amazing at scouting deals, running the numbers, and like finding really good undervalued properties, and he knows what's undervalued. But you should also have a basic understanding of like the trends, the data, and like at a very bare minimum, even if you have a real estate team, you should understand the real estate market and where it's going and where it's headed. Is there new developments coming into the area? What is that going to do? Is there new businesses? Like, there's tons of developments coming in around where our investments are in Cleveland. And so you need to know where to enter and where not to. So that would be the main thing, because that will help you analyze your risk, your returns, and if there's any protection from you. Not every market is strong as the LA market, and if there is in the recession anything hit with the housing market, it's going to be those smaller areas that get hit first.
Right.
So,
and you need to just keep abreast of what's happening. Is Google going in there? Are they scouting out to, open a huge factory? Whatever the case might be, you really need to focus on that and have an agent if you're investing out of state that will focus on that.
Agreed. Next,
you want to get in the market and have a long-term goal. I think a lot of people, they see returns, whether it's the cap rate or people flipping, and they're like, I want to do that too. Whether it's the quick money of the flip, which is sometimes not so quick, or it's the return that they can get. But really, what is their long-term goal?
Yeah.
What budget are you at? What area are you looking for? And come up with that strategy.
Mm-hmm. Especially with, I guess we're more focusing on the long-term game in this podcast, because the market is shifting a little bit in different ways. And so, people ask us all the time, well, like, should I buy right now? And I'm like, if you can hold it, yes. Like, the answer is yes. But if you're buying to get in and out, we have some other question. We have to have a different conversation, because the market is shifting. You know what I mean? So it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing, I think, for a lot of people, but it's just going to be different. Your strategy can change.
Right. And I think depending on where you are in your life, your strategy is different. Your strategy is completely different than mine. My
100%.
kids, you've got young ones. I've got adults.
Yeah. I'm all about like the long-term game. I'm like, what can my children take over?
Right.
If I start now, 5-10 years doesn't scare me.
Right. 5 or 10 years is quick for me because my kids are already adults now.
Yeah.
I can't keep calling them kids.
They'll always be your babies.
That's true. They will.
Yeah. And then, so our next one, I'm guilty of not doing this at the beginning, but you have to keep an investor mindset. So, yes, you are trying to obviously get the most return on your investment. So, but at the same time, if you're like me and humans are always going to be more important than profit, you don't always look at it as an investor mindset, because in certain areas, like your quality of living or the luxuries that you have as an investor might not be what is needed in that market. And so this is one of the things I had to learn. I was looking at properties and like what we had to do with them and the costs associated to get them to what I would move into. And not saying that we're keeping our properties in a bad state or like we're not taking care of our tenants, but like most people don't need or want or care to pay a premium to live in that type of market, right? It's not where we're buying. So you're not moving in. Know the preferences and the trends of the tenants in the area that you're looking, but always make sure that you're comparing that, because the rents and the price points have to be able to match what your return needs to be in that area. So you can't you don't want to over improve.
And I think that's important too. A lot of the buzzword for the last few years have been STR, short-term rentals.
Yeah.
So like the Airbnbs and the VRBOs.
The beauties.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you're doing an Airbnb and you love luxury, you can go in there and over improve that Airbnb and want to get as much money as possible, but not. There could be people that cannot afford $500 a night or wherever you are, whatever the price might be. You've over improved that Airbnb, and that's not even doing cosmetic work. I mean, just even furnishings. So keeping that in mind as well.
Also, you have to keep in mind with that, the investor mindset is that most tenants do not take, like no matter how great of a person you are, it's different when you're paying for something that you own and you take pride in it. I've learned that everything has to have as much length on the investment, right? So like flooring is important because certain kinds of flooring obviously get scuffed faster and have to be replaced faster and things like that. And there's, renters they're humans too, so they have pets and things like that. So not that you ever want to go cheap and like make sure you always want to make sure they're living up to a good quality of life. But what you might think is the quality is way over quality. And like, then it forces the rental prices up and people can't afford it. So it has a negative feedback too.
Right.
Or you could lose money because you didn't analyze the area, think like an investor, and you put too much money and you can't get a return on it.
That's why we're talking about the key preparations to becoming a real estate
Yeah.
investor. And I think the last one is when you start, or if you're in there, you need to know the key terms. So a lot of times, like I said earlier, STR. What is STR?
Short-term rental.
What's ROI?
Return on investment.
No, it's a quiz. We're going to have a Jeopardy. So you need to know when you're when you're interviewing agents, or you're, looking at OMs,
Offering memorandum.
You need to know what these things mean. So
Yeah.
take
I
a
also
crash
think,
course.
yeah, especially if you're like buying, which I don't ever recommend without representation, someone can smell it a mile away that you're not experienced, and it can cost you a lot of money.
A lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think those were really good points.
Yeah. Key preparations. I hope that everyone took a listen. I'm sure there'll be a part 2 because we are sharing as we learn, and we're learning every day the hardest way possible because, again, like we said at the beginning, we've jumped right into all the things that we're doing. And so, yeah, we knew that there would be costly mistakes and things that maybe we didn't prepare for that we can save you the headache from later. So stay tuned for more information and for our next topic, which is the benefits to investing long distance. Until next time, our beautiful humans, namaste.